Now we have built up to the president of Brigham Young University, Kevin J. Worthen. President Worthen, great to have you with us here in Miami.
I can say it truly is a pleasure to be in Miami with this weather and this kind of setting. I'll tell you, it's great to be with you.
If The Rock was here, they'd go whoosh Worthen right now, I think. Are you okay with that, by the way?
I am, yeah. Yeah, it works well.
It's nice.
How do you signal the way that President Samuelson did, or?
That's what I've decided. I decided if you're going to start a tradition, you got to do the same thing over and over again, and I think that may be a pretty good tradition. So it's 2 thumbs up.
You've carried that on. You've had quite the week in terms of travel and with BYU athletics. You just came from Oklahoma City watching BYU compete for a national championship. You were there to watch that big win against Texas, and then watch them lose in 3 sets to Penn State. But how was that experience for you watching the BYU women's volleyball team?
It was a great experience. You've been with the teams before, and they make an impression both on the court and off the court. It was fun, both games, quite honestly, to see how well they performed, but particularly against Texas, it was a lot of fun. They just got on top and didn't let Texas back in, and it was a lot of fun to see that. Off the court, again, they're just wonderful young women to be with. As we were leaving, one of the security guards said, "Are you the president of the university?" And I said, "I am." She said, "We've never had kids like this here before." She said, "We're not supposed to root for teams." She said, "But you ought to know the security staff's been rooting for BYU the whole time." I mean, these are extraordinary young women who had a great run and represented the university very well. We were really pleased.
Yeah, I got the sense that there was no disappointment per se that they lost the national title. Just what a run. You know, you celebrate the fact that they did that. Meanwhile, Saturday, BYU won against Stanford in a nice win for BYU that they probably needed with an injured Tyler Haas.
It was pretty impressive. We were able to watch most of that game. We were in a restaurant with the women's volleyball team, and they had it on a big screen there and turned it in and saw Tyler. I didn't even know whether he was going to play or not.
Yeah.
And there he was hitting his first 4 or 5 shots, played very well, as did the whole team. They made it a little more exciting at the end than I'd like it, but the fans love that kind of stuff, so it turned out all right.
Yeah, exciting is an interesting word to describe that. I don't know if we were exactly feeling excitement.
What's going on?
Hotel room.
We actually had a problem with the feed at the hotel. It was on ESPNU.
Yeah.
And it would buffer. I don't know what the right term is for. The shot would go up and it would just freeze. So you can imagine how exciting this is as Randall's taking the last shot. You know, it freezes.
It froze?
Right there.
Oh,
right there.
no.
But it turned out okay.
What happened?
That's brutal. President Worthen of BYU with us on BYU Sports Nation, president of the university, BYU Sports Nation broadcasting live from Miami. Now, we've talked about how much fun we've had, and you ask me on a regular basis, right, are you having fun? Are you and Jeremy having fun?
The answer is yes.
Absolutely we are. So now in your new calling, we'd like to ask you that question. Are you having fun?
I really am. People, I think they probably think I'm crazy, and maybe I am, but I am really enjoying it. It's great to be around the people at the university, particularly the students, but the faculty and staff. And you come to events like this, and people really reach out to the university. It's fun to see how many people we have come to the firesides, to all of these kind of things. And it really is just a lot of fun to be involved.
How would you characterize the 2014 BYU football season?
It's been, Bronco at the fireside quoted one of the players from an earlier fireside. He said, "Life's like a roller coaster." And that's what it's been like. And you're going up, and all of a sudden you got your hands up, and you're looking forward, and it's 4-0, and we're thinking it's great. And then all of a sudden you go back down, and but then it comes back up again. And the real trick is both the player and Bronco said, is to sort of keep your hands up when it's going down, still have some fun while it's going down.
Yeah.
And the word that comes to mind is resilient. I mean, this is a team, really, when it hit that skid with the 4-game losing streak, it's easy to, at that point, just pack it in. And to be able to say, no, we still have something to offer here, win the last 4, hopefully the 5th game in a row makes a huge difference and says a lot about these kids.
Jordan Leslie has been a graduate transfer and a pleasant surprise for this BYU football team. He says he's petitioning the NCAA to remove October from this year's schedule so that BYU can finish with an undefeated season. Yeah. He's one of the seniors that's going to take the field for the final time with BYU today. If you had a message for the players, and maybe you'll deliver that to them in the locker room later, I don't know. But what would you say to each of those players that has given of their time and talents to this BYU football program?
Well, the very first thing is to say thank you to them for all the time and effort they put out there. And people don't really realize, unless they're really involved closely with these kids, how much time and effort during the season, during the off season, the kind of commitment that's there. And then we asked them, in addition, as I say, to represent us so well. We've got the firesides, we've got everything else, and all football players live in a bit of a bubble, but I think particularly at BYU, there are people paying attention to everything they do. They know that, and they've represented us so well. So I would just say, first of all, thank you. Second is enjoy the moment, because it comes and goes, and you learn things that the wins and losses really do fade away, believe it or not. But the relationships you have with your teammates, seeing that you can do hard things, that you can be resilient. Because in life, that's one of the great things about sports is you learn 50% of the teams lose. And in life, you lose sometimes. And being able to say, okay, how are you going to deal with that? They've learned some valuable skills, and I hope they appreciate that even as they're going through the experience.
BYU is a long ways from home. Does this play into the mission of the university to reach out to different parts of the country?
Absolutely, absolutely. That's one of the things that independence has allowed us to do, is travel throughout the country. And again, we had a fireside last night. I'd guess there were, I'm not very good at these things, but I guess there were probably 700-800 people there.
Wow.
There was a young men's group that came down from Fort Pierce, which is apparently north of here. Just thrilled to be there. Just absolutely thrilled to be there. Some of these young men, their quorum advisor said there were 20 of the 27 young men there whose fathers either were not present or were not members of the church. But these are kids who have joined the church and been involved, and they were just in heaven. This was better than Disney World for them, and that's part of the experience that we give them. They're there watching, and their eyes are about this big as they go out. So that's really a chance to represent the university across the nation.
Do you want to pursue bowl games that are in similar distance, I guess, in the future?
Well, I'll tell you, for me personally, I want to pursue bowl games that are in warm weather climates.
Yes.
I'll tell you that.
Yes. That's a Broncos thing. It has to be a beach. Yeah.
But yeah, that's one of the things that it's not necessarily part of the strategy, because there's less leeway in terms of the bowl game.
Mm-hmm.
But it is noted that we play in different locations each year, and that's part of the strategy as well.
Now, you played basketball at the College of Eastern Utah. I need to look up your statistics. I'm not.
No, go ahead. They're not worth looking up. They're not going to find much there.
But you're a very big-time sports fan, knowledgeable, and so at some point, I think we need to get you on as a basketball analyst and dissect the season.
Yeah, I was just talking. You just met with Commissioner Oresco, who had a career at ESPN and CBS Sports, and I asked him last night. He was talking about coaches. He said some of them are really good, some of them aren't. And I said, how long does it take you to find out if they're not very good? He said about 3 minutes. So I don't want to run that risk. Yeah. The legend's sometimes better just leaving it alone that way. So.
Very good. President, it's always great to have you with us. Before you go, is there anything that BYU Sports Nation and the BYU Sports Nation Karma can do for you?
Well, just keep the karma going to this football team and to the men's and women's basketball team in the immediate future, and that'd be great. But I'm excited the way things have turned out with BYU Sports Nation. I was around. I don't want to take any credit for it, because the idea was presented to me when I was the vice president there, but just thrilled at how well things have turned out. And it does look like you're having fun, so I hope that's the case, because it does make a difference.
We're at least having that. That's what we know.
Yeah, and I do hear from people throughout the country who are watching, who are listening, and it makes a difference to have that connection, obviously with sports, but back to BYU, and just want to say thank you to both of you for representing us so well. I mean, I think you capture well the spirit of what we're trying to do and the enthusiasm we have, so I appreciate all you're doing.
My favorite guest we've ever had.
Yeah, I was just going to say that. This is a peak moment. The only way it would make it better is if BYU can go out on the football field and get a win.
I would take that. Absolutely.
Keep that karma going in that direction.
We will do that. Pleasure to have you with us, President, and we'll talk to you soon in the future.
All right, look forward to it.